What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Rich and Turbo Heavy Half Hour. You get me as your host along with Turbo. My name's Rich. Find me at FuzzDoomRip, doing all the socials at Rich.Piva as a music, doing reviews of Musicpedia of Metal as a Doom Charts contributor, and also as a sponsor of that very cool Tampa Doom and Gloom Fest that's coming up in November with our boys from Florist, Broad Slab, and Lungburner, and New Dawn Fades, and a whole bunch of other bands. And just one other thing before I pass to Turbo to introduce we just started sponsoring the event for TR from Freedom Hawk, who unfortunately was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So everybody go and check out and find that link for the GoFundMe and do what you can for him because it would be amazing. Shout out to Mario from Bracho who is running that and working that. But more to follow on that. But we're sponsoring that show that Bracho's headlining for that. So anyway, Turbo, it's good to see you. Turbo, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm here. I'm caught out from under a rock.
That's all I could ask for. I missed you on the last couple episodes, so I'm happy to have you. We're very excited to have a returning guests on our show, Tommy and Justin from the amazing Solace. We are so excited to have you guys on the show. So thank you for coming back. And we'd have you on every week. But in this particular occasion, why we have you is because there is a new Solace record coming out. It's called Fading, Falling, Ruin.
Failing.
Failing, it's a hard word to say, like, fading, failing
You're not the
ruin.
only one.
It's hard
Yeah,
to say that. Comes
yeah.
out on July 3rd. It's on Magnetic Eye Records. It's your 5th record, which seems it seems like you have more records than that, right? Because you guys have been around forever. But that being said, it rules, and we are so happy to be talking to you about that record today. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Very excited for the record, no doubt.
Yep, yep.
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about this new record. The first thing that hits me, number one, is the memorable and melodic kind of pieces of it. You guys have the riffs, and you guys bring it as always with the riffs, and there's the heavy. But I feel like there's maybe a doubling down on whether it's vocal melodies or something melodic that is coming through on this record to me, on the opening track, on uh, Beyond Below, like earworms. Is that am I crazy? Am I hearing something? Or
No, that's definitely not crazy. I mean, I think, with the addition of Justin Goins as our singer, earlier when we, first started, we were a little bit more aggressive. Obviously, Jason's voice, he was a little bit more screamy. Uh, we're a different band now. We're the same band musically, but with a different singer at the helm, we've definitely kind of, and we've matured a bit. We're not young kids anymore. So we've definitely, there's still aggression in our music, but we've definitely kind of embraced a little bit more of the melodic,
Sure.
guitar playing wise as well. I think there's more harmonies and it's not as, frenetic and over the top as some of our stuff in the past was.
Just to add to
But
that a little bit, Justin Goins had gigantic shoes to fill when he joined this band, and he filled them, but he made those shoes his own. And I think something that he brought to the table was more of a melodic sense where Jason was very intense. Goins, we never really had like these kind of catchy choruses before. And we dig it. I mean, if we didn't dig it, we wouldn't be into him doing it. You know what I mean? And I think we've leaned into helping him. Oh, let's do that chorus again, man. That was excellent. So we're blown away by what he's done, and he has really helped us bring that element together. And also, like Tommy said, we like so much music and we're influenced by so many things. We wanted to lean that way anyway. We've always had that in us a little bit.
yeah, I mean, listen, I'm going to be 60 years old in a couple months. As much as I love my hardcore and thrashy past,
And that's
you know,
there.
I it is there,
Yeah.
but I think we're writing better songs as a whole now as a band, as opposed to just going in the studio and being like, we're gonna rip this motherfucker's
Yeah.
face up with these fucking riffs. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you're right. I think we're a little more song oriented now. We kind of want to focus on what's best for the song as a whole. And we're still throwing the kitchen sink in if it works.
Yeah,
If
if
it
it
doesn't
works.
work, we don't do it anymore. And there have been aspects, we're our own worst critics with this. There have been things in the past where we've been like, man, maybe we should have checked ourselves a little bit. That was a little too much. We're proud of everything we've done, but I think we're more song focused now.
Yeah, I mean, even there's vocal harmonies on there. Is that Justin harmonizing with himself on a few of those
It
songs,
is.
or
Live, we try and do it together, but everything on the record is him harmonized with himself. And he's influenced by probably some of the same stuff we're all influenced by, like Alice in Chains and then some of the early harmony stuff. And he just writes some great harmonies. He's killer, man. I mean, I don't tell him I said this, but he has elevated us in a different way. If we made a record and Jason was still around and we were able to make this record, which I don't even know if he would be in the band. He probably wouldn't. We'd have probably been done if we didn't find Goins. But it would be a different record. I'm sure we'd be proud of it. But I like what Goins has brought to the table. He's brought something out of us that I don't think we were able to tap into before.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
like where we're at.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's it might wind up being a grower a little bit for people who might have certain expectations. For me, I'm the guy who eats up the melodic stuff. Like that's like what I like. Kind of at this point, that's kind of where the magnet goes for me. Turbo, I know I shared the record with you. You're able to get it as a Doom Charts contributor ahead of time and get to spend some time with it. Do you have what questions do you have for the guys to start?
I mean, I was going to say, the way that I heard it and the way that I feel about the way where y'all are now is like, um, if you were a V8 engine on a muscle car, it's like Jason was got you is your first and second gear, and now you're in your fourth gear. I mean, it's just and you're smoothing along, man. And it's
I
just
think we kind of, yeah, go ahead.
no, that was just basically it. That's what I hear is that you're
I think we kind of started along that lines with the Brink. We kind of were leaning that way already. And I just think we've just kind of, like you said, kicked it into fourth gear on this one.
Also, I think that Jason was a little elusive with us, and I don't want to focus on Jason the whole time, but we did a lot of the songwriting without Jason present. We would go to give the songs to him. He'd go to the studio and record them. I think with this record, we were inclusive with Justin Goins, where he was in the studio rehearsal room with us, where he would have input and say, "Hey, can you play
Yeah, it was
that a little?"
much more of a collaborative thing.
100%, yeah, and that
Yeah.
shows as well. But I love the muscle car reference. I'm all in on the muscle car reference.
Feel free to use that in the quote in any promotional material that you might have.
You got it.
Love it. Go ahead, Turbo.
here. I heard a really big word in one of the songs. Was it like ubiquitous or
He's
something? I was like,
Ubiquitous, yeah.
he's
Is
he's
this bad
like a
religion or
walking
something?
he's like a walking thesaurus, that kid. Like, he's very well read. He's a really bright dude. Like I said, he reads, and he's got some $5 words.
No doubt. When we're at band practice, he'll sing and I'll hear the words. I won't say anything to him, but I'll come home and I'll ask my wife, "Hey, what does ubiquitous mean? Can you?"
like I didn't know I needed to stop the song and go look up words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
dude's a poet. Like, he's a kind of our Jim Morrison. You know what I mean? He could be a poet on his own. He actually told me, I'm probably going to tell this story wrong, but I'm going to tell it because he told it to me. I think in high school he won some sort of poetry contest, and the award was like meeting the poet laureate of the United States. And he was supposed to meet the dude that night, and instead of meeting him, he blew it off and went to like a Cramps or a Damned show or something. He was like, he didn't see the guy. So that's insight into who Justin Goins is.
love it. Love it. So like I mentioned, I spent a lot of time with this record. First of all, The Brink, again, one of my favorite records of all time. And just want to say, Magnetic Eye just did a repressing of it. So anybody who didn't have it, it was out of print for a while. Now it's back in I think multicolors. I might have a couple floating around in my office right now, but that's a whole other story. But go get that if you guys don't have that. It's ridiculous if you don't own that record because it's one of my favorites ever. Just so everybody
Please
knows.
go get it.
And I think I told you guys this story before, but when I first started getting back into kind of heavy music and understanding what there was like a heavy underground and all these bands, one of the like the first three records that I got into was The Brink. Like that record was like, holy shit, there's all this stuff happening. So you guys are responsible in part for this show even being in existence and the stuff that I listen to. So thank you guys for that. Um,
It's awesome.
on,
That's awesome.
on Fading, Failing, Ruin. I'm going to be able to say that just smoothly after by the time we're done with this. You have two songs over 10 minutes. One of them is, I believe, in my crack research, your longest song of all time, if I'm not
Is it?
mistaken.
I don't know.
Uh,
I haven't taken notes on that, but
Yeah,
I'll trust you.
Wraths of the Wrath's Object, The Big Fall. The words are like the titles are not like, hero or like, don't walk away. The titles are hard to say. So if I'm fumbling, it's because of that.
Okay.
But Rat's Object, The Big Fall, 14 minutes, 40 seconds long, has a big intro to it. Tell us about that one if you don't mind. I know we're teasing folks who have not heard the record, but anything you can say about that one?
Well, the intro, which I believe is approximately like 6 or 8 minutes long. I'm not exactly sure, but it does have a pretty long intro. And it wasn't really written to be that long. It was a lot shorter when we originally first started writing. But when we got in the studio and we started laying it down, the vibe was just so cool that before we knew it, it was over and the song started. And we were like, man, we should extend that a little bit longer. And then we'd extend it. And then we'd listen back and we go, I think it needs to be a little longer. And we must have extended it. What do you think? 3, 4, at least 4 times,
We
right?
doubled it. We doubled it 4 times, I think.
Yeah. So we just kind of we wanted this mellow, kind of trippy vibe into this kind of, real heavy, riffy song. But we didn't set out to say we're gonna do 8 minutes of this thing. It just, as we were recording it, the vibes we were feeling from it were just like, we need to go longer. We just need to go longer. And even the engineer and the guy who helped produce the record with us, Eric Rachel, he was like, I'm feeling you guys, like, but are you sure? It's long. And we're like, man, we're throwing convention. We've never been a conventional verse, chorus, solo, chorus band anyway. Our songs are pretty unconventional, and we were just like, fuck it, this is what we want. This is what we're going to do. And I really dig it. And we've actually kind of incorporated it into like our live set now. We did it a bunch on tour in Europe. We just did it again, and it's a little different than what we're kind of known for. But live, it really comes across as just like a chill, cool, kind of trippy, psychedelic Pink Floydy vibe, which is what we were kind of going for. And it just extended itself because we felt the need for it to be a longer.
It told
Because
us. It told
Yeah.
us how long it wanted to be, for sure.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
When I was first listening to it, I had it on in the background low, just on the digital, because we have the digital of it now. And I just had it in the background, and I thought that it stopped. I thought there was like a gap in the digital, so I had to turn it up to hear what was going on. I'm like, oh, okay. This is something completely different from Solace, which is very, very cool. The I get the lyrics, just going back to the lyrics that are in this record they seem very both poetic and angry. There's an anger to it, which I feel like is probably perpetuated by the world we live in today. And I'm looking at a song like A God Changes His Plans and some of the lyrics in that. That song hits hard. Like there's a lot going on in that song that hits hard to me. Can you tell us about that one too? Because that's another standout one outside of all the wonderful harmonies and melodies that you guys are bringing to your heavy. That one just kind of hits hard. Tell us about that one if you don't mind.
It's kind of hard to speak on lyrically. I know that there is definitely a lot of introspective things going on in a lot of our stuff for Goins. But musically, I mean, it's just a, a bludgeoning kind of quick little blast,
Is that the Solace song on the record? Like the one that you might expect from Solace because
Yeah, I mean, I would say that maybe, Culling the Herd is like an old, like, that's a really kind of old school throwback to like our early kind of riff days,
I think Beyond Below, because it's centered around that riff, kind of like Man Dog is centered around the Man Dog riff. I think Beyond Below has a very, other than the section that Mikey, our bass player, wrote, that Slayer section, I think that's a pretty Solace centric, vintage Solace centric. That song would fit on Further, probably.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a bass player joke, but you let your bass player write some stuff
He's the best
in your
guitarist
music?
in the band.
He's actually a guitar player who I've known him almost a whole adult or even my teenage years playing wise. We had a band when we were teenagers. The drummer Timmy and I had a band when we were kids. So, and I grew up with Mike, and Mike plays guitar. He's been in a bunch of thrash bands and metal bands in New Jersey. And when Bobby, our other bass player, moved to Chicago and wasn't really available to like continue being in the band full time, Mikey was filling in on bass with another friend's band of mine. And I never even thought to ask him because he is a guitar player. But once I realized that he was playing bass in another project, I called him up and I was like, hey, man, do you want to just play bass for us for a little while? Like maybe fill in for some gigs and whatever. And he's like, sure. So he can write some riffs. He can play guitar. So he's actually a guitar player. And what Justin said might be true. He might be the best guitar player
so
in this band.
He's very like thrash centric, like and like 80s hardcore crossover thrash and modern thrash. So he wrote this part, and Tommy was like, "Man, that part would work really good to break this song up," and it does. But me and Tommy had to sit there and really work shed this riff, trying to wrap our heads around it to play it in the studio, because it's not us it's us. We made it ours, but it's not something we would write, the two of us, for sure.
No, as soon as he played that riff for me, I was like, that's going on the record somewhere. We're going to find a spot for it. We found the perfect spot for it in From Below.
Beyond Below.
Or not From Below, Beyond Below.
Beyond Below. Love it. Absolutely love it. Turbo, what else?
Hold on 1 second, guys.
Yeah. We can continue while Tommy steps away. Turbo, what do you have for Justin while we have him before
last
Tommy?
time I asked you if you had any new toys or anything, and I noticed with the new sound that you got going on here, is there any new toys that you used on this album? Any new sound?
Any what? Toys?
Yeah, last time I asked you about
pedals or
any
instruments
new gear or anything like that, and you were talking about a new
What
box
did
you got.
we use anything? I'll tell you what we did different on this record. There's more acoustic. I don't think there's any acoustic soloing on any Solace record before this. As far as like pedals or toys or anything go, I think we're just the tried and true, Jim Dunlop crybabies.
Sorry, dudes. I'm making some deals on Facebook Marketplace here.
You're rich. But we haven't switched up anything as far as tone goes or toys go. We're using the same triple rectifier heads, the same wah-wah pedals. I use my delay. We both use our delays a lot, especially in the beginning to Wrath's Object. That whole thing is very delay oriented. But I don't think, did we mess with anything new in this record, Tommy, gear wise? Like I said, I did an acoustic solo, which is very different for what anything's ever done. But
I didn't do a damn thing different. I plugged into my Mesa the same way I always do. I use my DM3 analog delay. I got a Jim Dunlop wah pedal, probably my 20th one that I've gone through since I started playing, and I have a Rat distortion pedal. And that is all I I don't fuck around with boutique pedals and dudes that have $20,000 worth of gear that play $20 riffs. Just this is no nonsense riff rock. I don't have a pedal board the size of a whale.
The most
It's just
Jersey answer I could expect. So thank
yeah.
you
I mean,
for that. Love it.
it's just we're just a riff rock band. We're even that trippy psychedelic intro. That's literally just me with my distortion down a little bit and going through a delay pedal. I
Yeah, and
mean, that's
I have some acoustic lines on that intro, and then we're doing the delay with the guitar line, just delays. I have a pedal that I've wanted to use on it, but I never got a chance, and I don't know. I don't want to shoehorn something into the record just because I have a tricky thing. You know what I mean? Like it's just not the way everything we do is um very organic. We don't like try and force a thing just because we have it. So if something calls for a different sound, we'll try and find it. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Honestly,
One of the things that I noticed, and I have to bring up the promo material that I have on the record because I lost it for a second. Um, we joked around last time about how you tell people to put the organ in your songs when you put organs on the song. And it's stayed with me. I crack up every time I think of you guys just going like this and how you were. um, I'm not hearing any. Is there any on this record? Is it underneath, and maybe I'm going to hear it when I blast it? Because most of the time I'm listening to this kind of in the
if
background while I'm working. So I'm going to hear.
if you really put the headphones on, it's a lot. There are keys all over a lot of it. It's a lot more atmospheric than it was. Um, Unfortunately, because of time restraints, we were really trying to get this record done to line up with our European tour, and we just kind of missed the mark. Um, so we actually enlisted this guy Pele from where he's from.
lowrider, right?
Well, he plays with Lowrider.
Yeah, is he from
So we
Italy?
not Italy, no, they're from I think like the Netherlands or
Okay,
wherever Lowrider is from.
right.
So we actually had him kind of just we sent him the tracks, and over the course of a couple days, he did like without really knowing the material, just kind of put down. And it's a lot more. If you listen, it's there. There's a lot of cool little things that are going on. He's actually there in the beginning of the Wrath's Object. There's some melodic kind of mellow vibes going on. It's more of a atmospheric thing than actual John
Yeah.
Lord kind of keyboards, which the Brink had all over it.
Yeah, he's not
We,
doubling the riffs really. He's just doing some exactly like Tommy said, atmosphere and filling in space behind things. But it's
yeah,
there for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
love it. And again, this is a different Solace album, so which is very cool. You don't exactly know what to expect. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised by what they hear. That in the differences between this and say the Brink, for example. You mentioned the European tour. Tell us about that if you don't mind. How was that? Who did you play with, and how was it? How were the new tracks received out on the road there?
I mean, it was absolutely amazing. We did the first half of the tour opening for Hermano, which was just awesome. Um, Having those guys ask us out was just, beyond cool. We were turned on to a lot of people through them in the audience that had never heard us before. We got nightly opening up for them. Nightly, people would come up to us and say, I never heard of you guys before, but you've got a fan now. You got a fan for life. Like, holy shit, you guys were, awesome. So we really owe them a little bit of thanks, man, for, letting us do that first half of the tour opening for them. I think it really kind of opened up, some doors for us as far as people that had not heard us. Because, as great as Hermano is, we're a different band from them. So people who are into them might not necessarily know who we are
Find
or be
us.
into us. Yeah. I mean, all the and even the shows afterwards with them when we were on our own. I mean, we played, where did we play that was it in Dresden or Berlin when we played the show that the club had never sold out.
That was Berlin, the Desert Fest early show, like the kickoff
And
for Berlin
it
Desert
was
Fest.
just, I mean, all the shows were phenomenal. They were just, it was great fun. I think we turned a lot of people on to us. And unfortunately, you know, we haven't been over to Europe often enough. So I think with, you know, some more of this continued touring, we could turn a lot more heads, you
Yeah.
know.
I got to give love to Thomas and Broken Music for putting that tour together for us. Like we kind of just we knew the record was coming out. We thought we were going to have the record out by the time we were going over, and he reached out. Actually, Jad from Magnetic Eye put us together with him, and he put this tour together. And then Hermano apparently got word that we were going to be there at the same time and asked us to be with them. So the stars aligned as far as putting the shows together.
That's awesome.
And like Tommy said, it was a great time. I mean, every audience, whether it was a packed house in Paris with Hermano or 50 people, you know, in Bournemouth, the UK, every show was great as far as energy and the people being into it.
Love it.
There was no issues or problems. It was just it was a very positive tour. It was great.
I- Is Angstrom as chatty as I think he is?
Yes,
Yes, I
He's
figured he
100%.
was. Okay. Yeah. Just wanted,
he's a funny motherfucker, man.
yes, he is.
He's real. He's a great dude.
Yeah, we've had him on the show, I think three or four times now. And I've kind of we have a little bit of a friendship now. So he's hilarious.
Yeah,
We got
we're trying to get out to a festival next year in Denver to play with his other band,
Lunasoul.
Lunasol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love those guys. And
So we're trying to work that out. So hopefully we can you know, because our artist Paul Vismara is also from Denver, so we could kind of parlay it into a thing, hanging out with Dave and his band, and then hanging out with Paul and making it kind of like a, you know, a little thing, and maybe potentially it's been lightly spoken about, but maybe taking the leap because we've never been to the far West Coast. We've not been to California. Um, Las Vegas, I think, is as far west as we've gone. So we've never been up the West Coast. So maybe we can parlay that Denver festival into a week up the West Coast or something like that.
is that I don't want to name any names, but I have a friend named Sean who I'm actually seeing in Denver in a week or so. We will talk no more about that until he tells me that I can. Um, and we got to talk to John Garcia on our show, which was
Cool.
pretty amazing
What a
thing. That
sweetheart, man.
yeah,
Like
like
what a pleasant, real dude.
just
Yeah.
humble and like you had no idea that he was the lead singer of Caius at any point in time, or does he get it? Was I think he was like driving his daughter to soccer while he was doing the show with us, if I'm not mistaken. There was something like that going on. Like he was in his car doing it.
That's
But
awesome.
it was very cool that he took the time to talk to us. So the Hermano Solace show, damn, the Europeans are lucky. What about the artwork on this one, where everything is burning? Tell us about that if you don't mind.
Well, I think it's just a continuation of the title, you know. I came up with the title, Fading, Failing, Ruin. It's just kind of the way I'm feeling about the current state of affairs in America and in the world. You know, it's just that's just how I interpreted the vision of the record. Now, what Justin did with it lyrically might veer off of my vision for the concept of it. Um, some of the riffs were kind of written with that kind of mindset. Now, what he's done with it lyrically is kind of maybe morphed away from it, but it just speaks to me of, you know, the basic climate in America right now, where there's just this infighting and there's sides and everything is so divided. It just feels like kind of like everything is just kind of gone to shit, you know?
Yeah.
Very
No.
pessimistic. So I think Paul Vismara, who you were asking about the art, who has done every record cover since 13, Tommy gave Paul that concept in words, and Paul just ran with it as far as doing the painting.
And
That's amazing.
we gave him, as we were completing tracks in the studio, we would give Paul the riffs and even before there were lyrics to them. So it'd be like, here's the title I want. Here is the music. Picture the landscape. You know what I mean? And Paul just kind of came back with that. And that was, he sent a pencil sketch before he painted it. And I was like, dude, you've hit the nail on the head.
It's amazing how many times I asked about artwork, and it's like, yeah, we just said what our vision is in a few words, and they came back with this amazing thing. Like that skill set is just like so foreign to me that you can just give like a couple sentences or riffs, for example, and next thing you know, you get that. Like that is something I can't even really understand.
Paul, we've been working with Paul for so long, and me and Paul we're friends outside of our art and music relationship. We're total beer nerds. You know, he's been to my house and you know, I mean, he flew to Europe to see us unannounced.
That's
And
so
I
cool.
was just we were standing on stage doing a sound check and the hall was completely empty. And I hear this voice in the audience and I go, I know that fucking voice. And I looked, and there's Paul Vismara standing there. I go, you son of a bitch, dude. So I think that because we're friends, because he knows the band so well, and we've been friends. I mean, God, I mean, we've been friends for 25 or years or more, that he kind of knows instinctively, you know, he hears the riffs or whatever, and he's just kind of like, okay, I get it, you know.
That's awesome.
I mean,
Um,
we're not the kind of band who, you know, you're not going to draw like smiley faces and, you know, balloons on our album cover. You know, our riffs aren't, you know, the Beach Boys. There's no good vibrations here, man. You
yeah,
know?
no, I'm going to use that quote also when we promote this show. There's no good vibrations here, dude. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's very fitting. Turbo, before I ask these guys a non-music related question, I want to see if you have any other questions for them about the record or about them as a band in general.
And I was going to say this album cover looks like one that would you want the whole album be able to look at it because I feel like there's a lot more going on in that design because it's on Bandcamp. It's so small. I keep trying to make it bigger.
Right.
I was um other than that, I was wondering will we might get a live album from y'all sometime.
Oh boy. I don't know. I mean, I've never even really thought about that, you know? I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but yeah, it's just something I've actually never even considered.
No. We never really focus on playing perfectly when we play live because we're so into the energy of the moment that I'm not sure if we sat back and listened to our live sets that we'd be comfortable enough putting it out
Yeah,
That
there's
being
on.
said, I used to be a I used to be like in tape trading and shit like that. And sometimes the best bootleg shows are the ones where it was different, went off the rails, wasn't perfect. Like you get that kind of organic feel to
Yeah,
it. This
that
is
energy
me
would
selling
have
you
to
guys.
translate into what you're listening to, not what you're seeing or experiencing with us. If the energy translated onto an audio, you know, something to listen to, I think would be cool with it. But that's you're walking a tightrope there, you know.
when we're playing live, uh, we like he said, we're not overly concerned with playing perfect. We're up there having a good time. You know, usually there's drinks involved. Usually, you know, it's us playing to our friends and me and Justin playing to each other. We're more in the vibe and in the moment. I mean, if there ever was any, you know, live recordings, we ain't gonna sound like fucking Yes. You know, we're not gonna sound like Rush. We're gonna. I mean, it's gonna. There are moments
That's
when
fine
we
by
go
me.
off the fucking rails, you know. And
There have been shows where people after the show are like, that was so mind blowing, that was fantastic, and then we'll watch video of that show and we're like, what were they thinking? Were they watching us? But again, it's the energy from the stage translating. It's not necessarily the notes, you know. It's
yeah,
not. It's not that.
the sweat, the vibe, the sound system, all those things, in a live room with people having fun and sweating and drinking, and the amps are feeding back and there's a vibe. It doesn't necessarily translate. That doesn't translate to tape. Even when, we've got a bunch of live stuff on YouTube, and every once in a while I'm sitting here, my algorithm will boom, all of a sudden there's some live Solace thing, and I go, "Ooh, boy, oh boy." I go, "Oh, where's the remote?" Click, click. I'm like, "Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I wish
I
that
think
didn't
before we
exist."
ever did a live record, Turbo, I think that we would probably do some sort of cover record, because there's so many like deep cut cover songs that we love that we want to put our stamp on. We've talked about it a lot. The problem with that is Tommy has so many riffs that putting off working on those
New
to work
stuff,
on
yeah.
covers, there's only so much time. We only have so much time before, to
Yeah,
do
and
all
we've got a bunch
Alright.
of stuff already, like kind of not in the can, but we have, I'd say, I mean, we have, I'd say, the next record in concept, in riffs. The songs are not done, um, but there's enough material here that all we need to do is kind of get into the room as a band and hash it all out. I mean, I've got the list. We've got, probably another 8 or 9 songs right now that just need to be tweaked.
which we want to do because we don't want to wait another 7 years.
We
I was
don't
gonna
want to
say, so
wait
we're
another
not
7 years.
talking another 7 years for the next Solace record.
Well,
Bef
as long as we don't get hit with a worldwide pandemic, I
Right.
think we're going to be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
we were, when the Brink came out, we were poised to do some shit. We were working on a European tour. We had gigs lined up. And then for 2 years, we were in a constant state of lockdown. So, and as that slowly lifted, there was a bit of a band malaise. We were just kind of like, we hadn't been at it for so long.
I think the world in general had a malaise. Everybody was
Life
getting back
malaise, yeah.
into work.
Yeah. So it wasn't like we didn't want to get it done. Everyone was still like, "Oh, well, are we safe? Is everything okay? Well, what can we do? Are clubs open?" I mean, the clubs that we had, had gigs lined up for closed. I mean,
And are gone.
places, yeah, gone. They just don't exist anymore. Um, so yeah, hopefully there's not another world pandemic and we can get this record done in record time. Let's go. Record time.
Before we talk about the new one, there's this one that hasn't even come out yet. So let's not be greedy fans like I am constantly.
Fair enough.
But let me I now have to ask a non-music related question, because I believe when we talked last time, I think we talked a little bit of sports, if I'm not mistaken.
We did.
Um,
Because I remember this because I had inadvertently put on a Detroit Tigers cap and
and
you
I
guys are,
judged you.
yeah, you judged
Yes,
me.
I judged you.
I was just trying to hide my bald head.
If I are you New York sports fans? Is that or
Listen, I am over the moon about the Knicks, if that's where
okay?
you're going.
I'm going
I
there,
am
and I'm
over
also
the
going Giants draft. Like,
Well, listen,
tell me
I
both of
got
those.
I'm a little down on the Giants. I'm a little down on the Giants, mainly because I it's sticky, man. It's sticky. I Dart's political affiliation is a bit of a bummer for me. I think that people have already put this kid in the Hall of Fame, and I think between him and Scatterbo, they might not make it through the season the way
Yeah,
that they play.
and also brain. Yeah, they're. I don't necessarily know if they're the highest football IQ, for example, of just because exactly what you said. Like they just put their head down and hope for the best. And I watched a few of the games just like this the whole time, watching them and wondering what was going to happen, how quickly they would get hurt. The off,
I also got a lot of mixed feelings about Odell Beckham coming back.
I don't even think
He,
it makes a team. I don't even think it's
you
going to
know,
make a team.
he was a bit of a cancer. I don't like those elements. The me shit and all the overreacting and you know
The
sh-
opposite of that being your New York Knicks. Now, I was a damaged New York Knicks fan my entire life, and I had never seen the championship. I remember John Starks and his one for I think 18 or 19 in a finals game, and just them breaking my heart constantly. So
Yeah, I
tell us.
actually this win actually, I think, takes a bit of the grit out of the wound of those poor Patrick Ewing teams. And having Ewing in the stands when they won it, it heals a little bit of those Starks and Mason and Oakley and Ewing teams that were just, if they didn't run into Jordan, they ran into Olajuwon. And then they ran into Reggie Miller. They just didn't have enough to get over the hump. And yeah, I mean, Brunson is the king in New York right now.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy for most Knicks fans. I don't want Timothy Chalamet to be happy about anything, so screw him. But everybody else.
See, here's the thing. They kept showing this dude on screen, and I'm asking my wife, I'm like, who the fuck is this little kid? I go, it's a fucking little kid. I was like, who is this guy? I have no idea who that guy is.
Wonderful.
Paul
That's
Atreides,
okay.
man. That's Paul
Yeah.
Atreides.
The guy with the
Means nothing.
toys knows who he is, because that's what has to happen. Like, you need to know what role he's in. But anyway, I just wanted to run that past you. I remember I was telling somebody a story that I remember exactly where I was as a young child when when the Knicks won the NBA lottery to draft him. I remember
85.
where I was. I was in my
Yep.
grandmother's house, and I got so excited. I'm like, this is it. I was so naive that this would be like championships forever for the Knicks, and nothing but heartbreak. But anyway, that's my ESPN break for the show. I just knew that you were a New York sports fan, so I had to bring it up. Anyway, guys,
All good.
we have kept you longer than we promised, but I do want to say, and I'm going to do it very well this time. Fading, falling. I did it wrong again, mother.
Did it wrong.
Jeez. I'm not even gonna edit that, because everyone needs to see how terrible I am at my job. Fading, failing, ruin. It comes out on July 3rd. It is the perfect 4th of July celebration record, because it will get you in the mood to celebrate. Maybe not celebrate the way that you normally would celebrate July 4th, but celebrate in an all type of different way with Solace. It comes out Magnetic Eye. Shout out to Jad, doing so many great things with all those labels. Go pre-order the record now. Justin, Tommy, it is always a pleasure to talk with you guys. Thank you so much.
Anytime, man.
Yeah,
And,
great
anytime.
conversation. Always a great conversation. We should
Thank
get
you very
we should get
much.
the other Justin in. He's a little reclusive himself, but he can answer some of those good questions about the lyrics.
You tell us when, and we'll make it happen.
We'll get him on something.
The record comes out. Let's do it again when the record comes out.
Love
Yeah.
it. Thank you,
All
guys.
right.
Thank you for taking
All
the
right.
time.
Turbo, you guys
Yep.
rule, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, gents.